Here's a number that might surprise you. Roughly 70 million households in the United States own a pet cat. That's not just a fun fact about how much people love animals. That's 70 million homes where something quietly remarkable might be happening. Where stress is being lowered, where loneliness is being softened, where people are feeling a little more grounded without fully understanding why. Today we're going to talk about why. Not the surface level, cats are comforting conversation. The actual science, the psychology, the real human impact of sharing your life with a cat. Because it turns out, what feels like just curling up with your pet is doing something much deeper than that. Let's start with stress, because most of us are carrying more of it than we realize. When your body perceives pressure, a hard day at work, financial worry, a difficult relationship, it releases cortisol. Cortisol isn't inherently bad. It's what keeps you alert and functional. But when it stays elevated for days, weeks, months at a time, it starts to break things down. Sleep suffers, anxiety climbs, your body never fully gets to rest. Here's where cats come in. The act of petting a cat, that slow, repetitive motion, the warmth under your hand, the rhythm of it, activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your body's rest and recovery mode. Heart rate slows, breathing deepens. Cortisol begins to drop. And then there's the purr. A cat's purr vibrates at frequencies between 25 and 150 Hz. Research has found that sound frequencies in that range are associated with reduced anxiety, lower blood pressure, and even accelerated tissue healing. There is a reason people describe feeling physically calmer after just a few minutes with their cat. Their body is responding to something real. The purr isn't just pleasant, it's therapeutic. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get discussed nearly enough. Loneliness. We are living through what many researchers and public health officials are calling a loneliness epidemic. In the US and across much of the developed world, reported levels of chronic loneliness have been rising steadily for decades. And loneliness isn't just an emotional experience. It has measurable effects on physical health, comparable, some studies suggest, to smoking nearly a pack of cigarettes a day. Cats don't solve loneliness the way human connection does, but they address something specific and important: the feeling of being alone in a space. There's a body in the room, there's warmth on the couch beside you, there's a living creature that is aware of your presence, that responds to you, that chooses to be near you. Social psychology research consistently shows that even nonverbal companionship reduces perceived loneliness. The sense of someone else is here changes how safe and settled we feel, and that change is not trivial. It affects mood, sleep, and how we move through our days. For people who live alone, this matters enormously. Cats offer consistent companionship without the social demands that can sometimes feel exhausting. You don't have to talk, you don't have to perform. You can come home completely depleted and simply exist alongside another living being. That kind of low-pressure presence is something many people don't realize they're missing until they have it. Now let's look at how this plays out across different stages of life, because cats have this remarkable ability to meet people exactly where they are. For younger adults navigating the pressures of building a career, managing finances, and figuring out identity, cats provide something quietly stabilizing: routine, presence, a relationship with zero expectations attached. In a chapter of life that can feel deeply uncertain, coming home to a cat creates a small but consistent anchor. For families with children, the benefits take a different shape. Children who grow up with cats are learning something that takes many adults years to develop: how to read nonverbal cues. A cat has clear, honest communication, flattened ears, a flicking tail, turning away. A child who learns to notice and respect those signals is building emotional intelligence. They're learning that love sometimes means giving space, that boundaries deserve to be honored. These are not small lessons, these are foundational ones. For older adults, the impact can be profound in a different way entirely. Aging often brings loss of partners, friends, independence, routine. Cats provide something that directly counters some of the most damaging effects of that loss. They create daily structure, feeding times, gentle play, the quiet responsibility of caring for another living thing. Research on elderly populations consistently links companion animal ownership to lower reported rates of depression, improved mood, and a greater sense of purpose. And purpose, it turns out, is not just a feel-good concept. It is a measurable health outcome. There is one aspect of the human-cat bond that I think is the most psychologically underrated, and it comes down to one word: choice. Cats are famously selective. They don't love out of obligation. They don't perform affection. When a cat chooses to climb into your lap, slow blink at you from across the room, or press against your leg while you sleep, that is a genuine expression of trust and comfort. They chose you. That experience of being chosen does something specific to us psychologically. It reinforces a sense of safety and worth. It builds secure attachment, and it operates completely outside of our history, our achievements, our failures, or our self-perception on any given day. A cat doesn't know how your week went. They don't carry judgments. They simply know, this person is safe. This person is warm. I want to be near them. For anyone moving through a season of low self-worth or self-doubt, that quiet, wordless validation can be genuinely steadying in a way that's hard to fully explain but easy to feel. There's one more dimension worth talking about, and it's subtler than the rest. Cats are naturally, almost effortlessly present. Watch a cat in a patch of afternoon sunlight. Watch them stretch slowly, methodically, like they have all the time in the world. Watch them sit at a window completely absorbed in what's happening outside. They are not replaying yesterday. They are not worried about next week. They are entirely, fully here. When we interact with them, following their gaze, matching their stillness, simply sitting alongside them in quiet, something shifts. We get pulled out of the loop of anxious, repetitive thought. We return to something physical and immediate. We come back to the present moment without even trying. This is not incidental. It is one of the core reasons animal-assisted therapy has found a place in mental health treatment. That grounding effect, the way animals pull us back into our bodies and out of our heads, is well documented and clinically meaningful. A cat on your lap is not a replacement for professional support, but it is a real, daily, accessible form of emotional regulation that millions of people are benefiting from without ever giving it a name. So what does all of this add up to? It adds up to this: the relationship between humans and cats is not a soft, sentimental thing. It is a psychologically rich, physiologically real bond that touches stress response, loneliness, emotional development, purpose, self-worth, and present moment awareness. It is quiet, it is undemanding, it doesn't ask you to explain yourself, and in a world that is loud and relentless and constantly pulling your attention in 10 directions, that kind of steady, warm, chosen presence isn't just comforting, it might be one of the most underrated forms of support available to us. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe. This channel is dedicated entirely to cats. The way they think, the way they bond with us, the way they quietly improve our lives in ways we don't always have words for. Every video we make lives in that space, and we're just getting started. Before you go, drop a comment with this: what's the most memorable thing your cat has ever done for you? A moment that stuck with you, something small that somehow meant everything. I read every single comment, and honestly, those stories are the whole reason I keep making these videos. If you know someone who loves their cat or someone who needs a reminder that they're not alone, send this to them. You never know who needs to hear it today.